Welcome, sixth graders. This video is to talk about the History of Measurement Design notebook and to make sure you have everything filled out before you submit it. And so today we have two things we're going to look at, and the first two things are answering the essential questions in your design notebook and then also making sure you have your conclusion questions answered. So I'm going to look at those right now and show you where they're located in your design notebook. So in your design notebook, you'll see at the top there are four essential questions that throughout this unit over the last couple of weeks we've worked on. And so now is the time, if you haven't already, to answer these questions in the box right here. So the first one, how has measurement changed over time? Second one, why are many historical practices not precise? The third one, why is standardized measurement important? So remember, standardized measurement are measurements that when we all use it's the same. So for example, if I use a ruler that's 12 inches, it's going to be the same if you use a ruler that's also 12 inches, and that's what makes it standardized. Why is it necessary to have that now? And then the last question, what do all the markings on a ruler represent? We did an activity called making an inch where you were folding the paper over and over to break down the sections on a ruler that between every inch. So take time right now to answer these four essential questions. And then towards the bottom of your design notebook, you have conclusion questions, and there are 10 of them. Take your time to do each one. Remember, they are color coded, so the blue ones are the must do questions, the orange ones are the should do, and then the pink or purple ones are aspire to do, those going for that 7 or an 8th grade. So take time to do that, and once you're done with those two things, then look at this final checklist. And so this is going to be ultimately how you're being graded. And I want you to double check that you have everything in there before you submit it. And just remember that for each design notebook, you get 4 grades. It's not just going to be 1 grade out of this design notebook, it's 4 of them. And it's entirely based on the evidence that you show for using the design process. And we've been doing this each day for the last couple weeks that you're in here. And the first grade that you're going to get, the first part of the design process, is inquiring and analyzing. So for this grade, we're going to look at your essential questions, the video response to measure for measure video, and then inserting an image of the making an inch activity. And so I want to show you where these three things are located again. The first one for essential questions, I already talked about that. That's at the top here. But the second one for measure reflection questions, this is under inquiring and analyzing. And you are to watch this video that's also included in your design notebook. And after watching it, you have 4 video response questions talking about the video and the historical measurements that were used. So that's your first grade. The second grade is going to be developing ideas. And so this is where we're looking at the vocabulary words and the historical measurements vocabulary chart. So I'm going to show you where those two are located to make sure you can double check that and that you have it in your design notebook. So the first set of vocabulary words is towards the top here, right underneath the daily goals. And you had a day to do all of these vocabulary words and try to put them in your own words rather than just copying and pasting from Google. And then the other vocabulary chart, it's under developing ideas. And you had 6 terms to find. All of them were using your body parts and how you measure. So you should have a definition of how we did that, and then a picture of how that's being used in this chart box here. The third grade that you're getting is the main activity that we're doing, which is creating the solution. And that was the historical measurements around the home chart, where you had to measure things around your home, and you had to pick the types of measurements you're going to do, whether it was fathom, cubit, and this chart here, these types of measurements. So for this activity, you had to give proof of that by completing this chart here. So you should have labeled what object you were measuring, and then you and a partner should have put your measurements in the chart here. And that is your third grade. And then your final grade for this is evaluating. And so that's the conclusion questions. I'll bring this up here. the conclusion questions in your design notebook, and then the daily summaries that you have for each class. So I'd encourage you right now, just pause this video, and you can then leave this video right where it's at so you know everything that should be in your design notebook. Go through this list of everything and make sure it's in there. And if you're missing something, just take time right now to finish that up before you submit it.